G'day folks, just a quick video for a viewer that asked me to do a short video on my ATX power supply conversion. This is the power supply I used, so it's from a Pentium 4 computer, with all the details there. I've left the original 20 pin ATX plug connected. I think they do a 24 or 26 pin. Anyway, I'll flip it around. You can see how I've laid it out. USB port, most of the power rails. I've added the adjustable buck boost module, difficult to see. I've tied in with the standby and the power good circuit. On the side I've still got the original power switch, the fan, the power input. Here I've put a rotary switch. This really just controls the voltmeter. All of the outlets are live all the time. If I want the voltmeter, I just switch to one for 3.3, 5 volt, 12 volt, or if I want to use the boost buck converter, then I switch to here, and that powers that on. I'll plug it in, I'll power it up, and I'll show you how it works. Alright, so we've got it plugged in. If I switch the switch on, you get the standby light. If I flick this one on, it powers up, you hear the fan come on, and at the moment all of the outputs are live, but the voltmeter doesn't do anything until we switch this one, and we get 3.2, 5 volt, 12 volt, and then switch over to adjustable. And then this buck boost converter has a push button, switches the output off. The output is just to these adjustable terminals, and we can select between hours, amps, watts, amp hours, and then back to hours again. To adjust it, we push the next button. We can then adjust the voltage. I think it does 0 to 30 volts. Sorry about the screen, it's very hard to see. Press it, it moves over to the next one. Press it again, next one. And you can just essentially adjust the voltage to what we want. And press this one, bottom button. We can then adjust the amperage output. Looks like it does 40 amps max. Is that 4 amps? 4 amps max by the look of it. So it may actually do 5. No, it looks like 4 amp. Now that's set. .30 volt, 4 amp. turn it on, press the button, output comes on, and it will also do constant current mode. It does constant current or constant voltage, a bit like your cheap Chinese adjustable power supplies. Depending on what the circuit is, you can adjust an amperage limit. It will then only allow a maximum of the amperage you set, or you can set a voltage limit, and then it will switch between constant current or constant voltage depending on what the device you're plugging in needs. Anyway, turn the power output off and push the button there. Quite a handy little unit, buck boost, ZK4KX. I think it's fairly cheap on most of the online sellers, eBay, I guess, AliExpress, Amazon, Banggood, likes of those. So if I'll just switch this one off altogether. So essentially this is off unless I'm in the adjustable position. I'm pretty sure all my other outputs are still live all of the time, and this is only really just controlling the voltmeter. I also put a USB port in, just a 5-volt USB, and a little cap that goes on there. Now I'll just I've left the ATX connector, just left some of the cords connected, but I can still use an external breakout board if I need to. I'll be back in a second and we'll plug that in. Alright, I bought this breakout board before thinking about converting or modifying the main power supply. I thought this might be a handy way to just plug into the ATX connector and give me all the outputs we need. 3.3, 5 volt, 12 volt, and adjustable. This one doesn't do -12. It does have a USB port. Separate switch is essentially linked in with the standby switch. This doesn't function on this now because I have the separate switch connected. But if I power up the power supply, this board comes on. It sits there and does nothing. If I manually switch it, it also manually switches, even though this is in the off position. Turn it off. This one's now off, or I can manually still switch it on here. Brings that one on, and then essentially the adjustable output is adjustable up to just over 10.5 volts on the last port, and adjust it up or down as needed. This is quite handy if you just want to quickly plug it in and use it, or on another power supply that doesn't have the option of all of that. So that's that little board. I've also got this one, which is a similar idea. Again, it just plugs straight in from the ATX plug. Same deal, it's got a standby power on and off port. I'm not sure what these other two are. They'd be external outputs. And you have got -12 common ground, +12 ground. Each port has its own separate ground. They are all common. 5 volt ground, 3.3 ground. It has got a USB port. It has got a little indicator lamp. Tells you it's on. And separate fuse for each pair of terminals. I'll just this one also has active lamps for each, much like the other one has. I'll just plug that one in, we'll have a quick look at that, and then we're just about done. Okay, so we've got that one plugged in now. I think this will still work from the onboard switch. This one is off. If I turn this one off, then this one on. Yeah, they're basically running wired in parallel. This is only a 20 pin plug on the power supply, but I think later years they upgraded to a 24 pin. The 20 pin still does plug straight into a 24 pin socket. I've just kept some of the original wires that were connected here. I've taken some out, wired them all into the rest of it, and just left myself some low current options on the outside. All of the functions still work, but I don't have the full current output. So that's a couple of different options. Again, this is a online seller, ex-China, fairly basic, straightforward. These are only binding posts, instead of proper banana connectors like on the other one. These aren't banana sockets. They're just simple binding posts. You can't plug straight in. This has some little plastic feet on the bottom. The other one actually has magnets on the bottom, so you can essentially stick that on the side. It's quite a handy way to do it. Don't have any space on top, but I can still stick it on the side there if I need to, and then that's I stick it on a bench or wherever you happen to want to. Anyway, that's just a little video for a viewer on another channel that asked me to post a bit of a look at my my power supply that I put together. It gives you an idea of what's possible. This all turned out quite well. Managed to fit everything in the bottom of the unit. The circuit board sits down below, and the fan is there. The original input socket, and was able to lay everything out so everything just barely fits in there. It was a bit of a tight squeeze. I've also used a ceramic resistor in line, I think with either the 12 volt or the 5 volt output internally, just to preload the power supply, sort of in parallel with the output of one of those circuits. Just helps the power supply to run stable voltage. Anyway, any questions, get back to me, let me know. I'll post this and send you a link shortly. Thanks for watching.